Hi everyone, and welcome to this Embodiment Café number 6. Today is the 13th of June 2022. Today we will talk about cycles and onions. Strange combinations. What do you think when I tell you cycle? Motorcycles, bicycles, no? Maybe someone will think about, for example, the cycle of life, or for example, the cycle of the year, the seasons, the cycle of the moon, or the cycle of the day, 24 hours, and so on. But there are also cycles in our life. In our life, we can encounter different cycles. So why do I talk about cycles today? And we will see also at the end why we also talk about onions, because they are connected, by the way. They're connected. So a cycle is a period of time which is short or long and everything in between, which can be the year, for example, the seasons, moon, 24 hours, you name it, and has some characteristics. Always there is a beginning. So for example, in case of the 24 hours, the day, the beginning is the sunrise. And then there is the first transformative period, which can be quick, short, or very long, and can go for some minutes, hours, weeks, months. And I'm not talking about day, about all the cycles. So there is a first transformative period, and for the day is the period where the sun is not coming out, but it's rising, and so there is light, but it's not as if it's day, so it's not the same intensity that we have during the day. Then we have another period which is there is stability of the event, let's say. So in the case of the day, the sun is up in the sky and shining, whatever, depending on the weather, but actually the sun is up there in the sky. And then there is moment where the cycle is going to an end, and for the day is the sunset. And then there is the end of the cycle, which is not just a point, but is a period itself. And in case of the day, the end is the night. So let's see if there are other cycles in our life. For example, there could be the cycle regarding a job, for example. I start a new job, and the beginning is the first day that I do this job. And then there is the first period where I'm developing new skills, I'm learning, I have lots of training to do, and I get support from a tutor or from the colleagues, I'm learning, doing, and so on. And so this is the first period of growing, let's say. And then there is a period of big stability. So I learned all the things that I had to learn, and now I have all the skills that I need for doing this job. So I'm producing a lot. It's a period of producing, of big stability. And I know how to do the job. There is I'm confident in doing it. And then we arrive at the moment which we are reaching the end. So for example, I don't have so much motivation in doing what I'm doing because I learned everything that I could learn, and I'm probably also quite good in what I'm doing. I don't get so much challenge in new situations because I know how to handle them, and I'm trying to saying, okay, what's happening? I don't have so much interest, or maybe I have it, but I feel that this period is going towards an end. And then there is the end. The end doesn't mean that we have to change job. Absolutely not. I'm not saying this. But the end is the period of this cycle also for the job in this example, where doesn't mean that I'm not doing it, the job. I'm still doing it probably, but it's a period of reflections. It's a period where I'm looking how I was when I began and how I'm now and how I would see myself in the future, for example. It's a period of looking inside. It's a period of looking what works and what not. It's a period of really staying. It's more of an inside moment. While there was this moment before of big stability, big production, it was a period of being more connected to the outside, because it was really about production, of giving, of working with other ones. In this moment, it's more about reflection, looking what was okay, what not. And this is quite important because it can give me lots of insight, for example. And instead of, for example, changing the job, I can see that I would like to do more sports because this is giving me more energy, or it's releasing lots of tension that I can see in my job, or because maybe I see that I want to reach to someone, maybe a coach or someone else who can help me to see more clearly how I would like to go on with my job. Or, for example, I see that I would like to propose myself in the company in a different way, for example. Or I see that I would like to, that my role has changed. That's why it was going to an end, because the role was based on what I was at the beginning, and now I'm different because of all the experiences that I had during the years, for example. And now I'm different, so I'm ready for another role. And how can I instead bring myself with another role inside the company? So the cycle doesn't mean that when it's at the end, it's bringing at the end the experience, but meaning that it's a moment of reflection so that we can start something new from there, which can be still connected to the old experience without clinging to it, but connected to the old experience, but from there generating something new. Okay, so why am I talking about cycles and I'm bringing the example of a job? Okay, or I could talk about life in general. Actually, cycles are also are applicable. Let's say the concept of cycle is applicable everywhere. So you can apply this concept also, for example, to the movement practices. We are each week doing a new movement practice. We are practicing together for 1 week, more or less, let's say. That would be nice. And during Tuesday, our first movement practice of the week, we have half an hour where there is the beginning. The beginning, I say what it will be during the new movement practice, and we have the first transformative moment, which is grounding ourselves, feeling the feet on the ground, trying to bring ourselves in the here and now to start the new practice. And then there is the real production of the movement practice, and then there is going to an end. And then the end usually is what? The moment where I give some suggestion for the next week, someone is making some questions, there are reflections on what was coming up during the movement practice. So it's again a moment of reflection. And then we close the session, the live session, and then we see each other the next week. Okay. Looking to cycles from, let's say, give me this possibility to say it like that, global embodied practices. It's an ongoing dialogue. So let's say I bring myself as an example, not because I'm full of myself, but because it's easier to bring myself as an example. So let's say that I'm doing movement practices, yeah? And I have in this period a certain way of doing it, a certain way of teaching them, a certain way of looking at them, certain way of choosing which one to practice. And there was a beginning, there was a first initial phase. Oh my God, I get lots of insight, that's cool. Oh, look at this and that. And then there is the other phase where there is this stability, full confidence. I know how to do, I already know how to change maybe the movement practice when it's not clear, when it's not okay, when I see that someone has it's uncomfortable with it, or when I feel uncomfortable, I know how to organize it. I know how to respond to my own sensations arising from the movement practice. I know how to respond when I'm not practicing, but life is hitting me, and but I have this background, I have this solid thing underneath, and I know how to respond. And then it's going to an end. Something is not working. I'm not responding, but I'm reacting, or I don't get the meaning of what I'm doing, or for example, it's not enough, or maybe it's too much, or maybe whatever. So I feel that it's going to an end. And then there is the end. So I see that no, it's not working anymore, this embodied practice. I have to look inside of me, what was happening, what was I doing, why am I not responding anymore? Usually it's because we are different from, I am different, you are different from the beginning of the path of the embodied practice, okay? Which it's not maybe 1 week, maybe we are talking about months, yeah? And yes, I already see one comment. And yeah, so we are different from the beginning. We had a transformation, and we are in the now, not another person, but it's like we were peeling off the first layer. So that's why here are coming the onions. We are like onions, and when we are going through those embodiment practices, we are peeling off layers, yeah? It's like we are going into our lives with our full backpack of history, experience, etc., and habits. And when we are practicing in an embodied way, sometimes can be that we say when we are arriving at the end of the cycle, let me look what was inside. I have this habit. It's no longer serving me. Thank you, habit, because you were with me till now. I know that you were helping me till now, but now I see that it's not useful anymore. So thank you, and I put it down. Close the backpack, go on in the path. And in the next embodied practice, or in the next experience, in the next cycle of life, we will peel off other layers, and we will be a different onion, or let's say it's always the same onion, but a little bit peeled off. And and so we will be a little bit different, and here comes another question that is often arising. I'm doing embodiment practices. I'm peeling off my layers. I'm putting down all the habits that are no longer serving me. I'm taking other good habits that are helping me and supporting me in this moment. So I'm becoming Zen. No. So when the situations are hitting me, situations of life are hitting me, I'm completely Zen. And I'm not reacting, I'm just answering so nicely to everyone that I'm really so perfect. No, actually can happen even the opposite. Especially at the beginning, when we are starting peeling off layers, can be that we are getting more sensible, because we are really connecting to our sensations. Yeah, we have, let's say, we are taking off the curtains. We are really connecting to all the sensations that we are arising to our body. Maybe before we were a little bit not listening to everything. We were avoiding them. And now we are listening to everything. And so can be that we are getting more sensible than before. But does it mean that all this is not a good idea to do? No, it's good. It's really good, because through embodiment practices, it's true we can get more sensible, but it's also true that with experience and with time and with practice, we learn how to have a dialogue with ourselves. We get more aware of what's happening inside, and we have more choice. So having awareness of what's happening here and now inside of me, inside of you, inside of everyone, it's important. But the practice is helping us, it's helping me, it's helping you to choose. And maybe once you will choose to respond adequately, and some other times you will choose just to react. And but it will be a choice. It won't be just a reaction because you don't know what's happening in your body and you just reacting like that. It will be a choice. So just to make a recap and then reading the comment. Cycles and onions. Cycles are periods that are happening in our lives. And they have different lengths, and can be that in one moment of your life, you are at the beginning of one cycle, or you are, and at the same time, you are at the very top, producing stability period of another cycle, or you are at the end of another cycle. Different cycles for different situations, or for different possibilities, or for different relationships, or whatever. Yeah. So it can be that you have different situations of cycle depending on the type of cycle. And we all have cycles in our lives, all of us, and we are immersed in a cycle life, in fact, and our life is also a cycle. And regarding onions, it's like we are onions, and using embodiment practices, and also the concept of cycles and experiences, and movement practices, embodied movement practices, we are peeling off pieces of our onion ourselves, which doesn't mean that we have to renegade pieces of us. We are taking off what is not serving us anymore in this moment. Habits or behaviors which are no longer helping us now, because after this cycle, especially if it's a cycle of embodiment practices, we are different from the beginning, and so we need something else, and so we are peeling off things. And no, this is not bringing to being perfect, but it's bringing to being human and natural, and being ourselves authentically with ourselves and with the other ones. Reading. I guess I'm doing little cycles in my life. I like to stick to the same things. Yeah. There can be little cycles, there can be big cycles. Maybe there are little small cycles inside of big cycles. Yeah. There is a question about Zen. Yeah, it's just to talk about this feeling of being in absolutely control of how we respond to situations. We have this idea that Zen, or let's say Buddhist, or someone who is really mindful, is able to be completely in control of what's happening and of his reaction. And it's not usually like that. And especially if we are doing embodiment practices, we are really tickling a little bit ourselves, even if in a respectful way. But anyway, we are tickling ourselves, and it's like helping things to come up, and so we can be a little bit more sensible. We have to be patient with ourselves and start other embodiment practices, or anyway go on with practicing, so that we can really give ourselves tools so that we can have more choices. Okay, so I hope that I was answering to the questions. And we arrived at the end of our Embodiment Café of today. I hope that it was clear. If not, you can write below. And if you have any other question, comment, insights that you had, you can comment below. We see each other the next Monday at 1:15 p.m. for the next Embodiment Café. But tomorrow we see each other, which is Tuesday at 8:30. We see each other for the next movement practice for this coming week. So thank you for being together, and hope to hear from you soon